Okay, let's hop back into it. Get started with this a little bit late. My daughter did not want to go to sleep tonight. So that was her thing. I'm not going to sleep, Dad. So I took the time to do some other things. Like try to learn how to read Japanese a bit better. And that's a bit of an effort. I was thinking about this. They use two main phonetic alphabets, which have more characters in each of them than your standard Roman alphabet, because they use one character for every syllable. And then they have a bunch of Chinese kanji, which half of them, it's like a lot of the times you could see a kanji and like you would be Japanese and not know what it means. There's a bunch of common ones. But I was thinking in English, it's like, oh man, I can't believe the Japanese people have like 3 alphabets. Like we have 2, but we don't really think about it because we don't think of capitals and lowercase as separate alphabets, but they're distinctly different character shapes. Lowercase e looks nothing like regular E at all, like regular capital E at all. So we use 2 alphabets at the minimum. If you're going to include like black letter fonts and things like that, or cursive, we use a plethora of different alphabets too, different ways of writing the same letters that you have to learn. We're just so immersed in our own language, we don't think about it that much. So it was just something interesting there about Japanese. In case you're wondering, there's one that's it's called hiragana, which is the standard phonetic alphabet, and then there's katakana, which is specifically denotes words from other languages. So they have it basically built in that, like, if you're using this alphabet, it lets you know that this word is not from another language, or not from Japanese. So place names, like say foreign place names like Mexico, you would write Mexico as, some set of letters that would make the sound of Mexico or something similar, and then you'd know that was not a Japanese word. It's kind of interesting. So, anyway, let's play some Final Fantasy. We'll have my final meal here. Pretty entertaining day so far. We certainly had some interesting costumed individuals show up at the Capitol. I'm not going to talk too much about that. This is a video game stream, so we got to talk about things in video game terms, or we might get shut down. We had a group of characters engage in a bit of hacking, and they skipped right to the final boss, but the final boss wasn't spawned. The final boss hadn't spawned yet. So apparently you have to do a couple of things before the final boss will spawn in the last dungeon. Otherwise, the whole dungeon apparently was empty. All the monsters left the dungeon or were hiding because they hadn't done the game in the right order. You can't just go straight to the final level, or there's nothing going to be there. So anyway, I think it crashed the program, and I think it's an automatic game over for some people. Actually, I actually did a save state for this. All right, here we go. I skipped the boring part of going back to the Elven King here, or to the king in the thing. He's ha ha ha! I am Astos, king of the Dark Elves. I have Matoya's crystal, and you shall give me that crown. Now! Boss fight. I think, I don't remember if... We'll try ice on him. He's like a spirit. We can also try harm. Let's see if that works. Ineffective. Okay, so no, he's not undead. Oh no! He one-shot my guy. That's unlucky. Yeah, he does that. He does like a spell that automatically kills people. And I don't think I could get Phoenix down in this game yet. Oh, you can't see the game. Thank you. There we go. Here, let's reload that. This is like I died anyway. Watch this. Boom! And now you'll give me that crown. I wasn't paying attention to OBS. It's kind of late. Let's see how much damage ice does. We know harm doesn't do anything. We'll just fight him. I think he did like 1 damage to him. 42 damage, that's okay. 4 damage. 2 damage. I think I only have one. We'll spam ice at him. I think I only have one silver sword or mithril sword in this. They were in the wrong dungeon anyway. The real boss is in California. Well, you can't. The final boss doesn't even spawn until you kill the one in California. You have to clear. They did the dungeons out of order. It's like hacking your way to the final boss in Oblivion. He just doesn't spawn. Yeah, we'll hit him with ice. Looks good. Boom. So one thing that I actually like about the NES games is like the sprites. Oh, that wasn't too bad. The sprites are surprisingly detailed, especially of the monsters, considering how few colors they worked with. You know, there's very few colors on the screen at one time, and they tend to lump. Like if you're looking at the grays, there's a white and a gray and a dark gray. You know, they're using three shades to show you that it's stone and black, like 4 shades. I don't think we get the. I think we have to go back to what's her name? Back to the cave, Toya's cave, and then we can finally get the herb to save the Elven King to do the next part of the story. The thing about this first game is that it's really about the gameplay, not the story. Oh, poison! I have to remember to heal the poison after the fight. Bert, you're hurt. Oh. Now this is a weird thing too. Is oh man. Poisoned. Oh, Bob is poisoned too. Let's stop and get some poison heals here. There he has some Cure 2. I don't think we need Cure 2. I think Cure 1's good. Oh, move this around. Kind of wish I'd gone with, like, double red mage. Yeah, there's no mana in this game. Rather, you just have charges of spells. Arachnid! Kind of like in Dragon Quest, you start by fighting like happy blobs. I've always liked that. Secret of Mana games. Yeah, they came out with one that was only released in Japan, I think last year. They came out with like the actual SNES port of it, which I think Trials of Mana is what they're calling it. I'm trying to remember the Japanese name. Sensei Deiki, I don't remember what it was, but yeah. But they finally came out with that. See how much this fire spell does. 130 damage. There, kill them all. Pretty tired after a night of dressing like a Viking and sitting in Nancy Pelosi's chair. And to me, the whole thing just is funny. I find it very funny. Like, everyone's taking it very seriously, but I'm like, this is like a... I don't know, it's almost like a big internet prank. It really does feel like it's for the lulz. Because it's not going to do anything. You know, nothing happened. I think some people were expecting Donald Trump to... They keep saying, like, oh, you should cross the Rubicon. It's like, he's not a Roman general with a long-established string of victories and legions of soldiers who have bled for him at his call and are deathly loyal to him. You know, that's not... He's a complete outsider with no one loyal to him at all. You know? Like, I don't know what people were thinking with that. It's like, he's gonna do this. I don't think so. It's like, I definitely don't think so now. Buy some more of these potions. You have to buy one at a time. This is one thing that I think they fixed in later versions of the game. Alright. My blue pill family doesn't understand it's for the lulz. They don't get what lulz are. It's like, why would somebody do this? And why would they dress like a cow? And why would they be, you know, why would they be singing Michael Jackson songs while they run down the cat? It's like, you don't get it. It's okay. Yeah, you don't get it. I think there's a haste spell. Wherever that other white magic shop is. I'll go look for it. I think there's a haste spell I can afford. That's pretty good. I think if you cast it on your... like, warrior, you can get some sick damage. I think these are the level... This town has level 3 and level 4 spells. No, Bert's not buying anything. Larry. Pure Fear... A-Ice, a mute. This gets rid of mute. No, that's not it. Must be somewhere else. They say what happened was terrible for our country. It was outrageous. Yeah. I think it was just funny. I know that that's maybe not the... Fast. That's what we're looking for here. Fast. This, you can cast this and it'll buff your warriors. This is pretty good. There's Ice 2, that's really good too. We'll have to come back for that one. Let's find boat. Michael Malice or Michelle Malice says that blue pill people are looking at a screen and thinking it's a window. Yeah, I think Scott Adams said it pretty well. It's like two people, like people are watching different movies. It's like people are experiencing different realities based on what information is presented to them and the way it's presented and what their past experiences told them and stuff. So like the blue pill people are experiencing a different reality from everybody else. You know, and there's maybe a certain amount of like active cognition at play there. Like, you may have to actively think. It may be like self-hypnosis. Scott Adams is a hypnotist, among other things. And one of the things about hypnosis, people are like, is hypnosis real or is it not real? It's really that, it's not that hypnosis is real or not real. It's that hypnosis is basically you convincing yourself. So, like, the person being hypnotized has to believe in hypnosis. It's like a self-fulfilling self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know how to put it any other way. But yeah, it's not that you hypnotize yourself, but you as being no one can hypnotize you against your will. At least not easily. It's not really the way hypnosis works. So yeah, there's like a whole section of people that are hypnotized. Yeah, he had such a good relationship with the generals that he could throw a coup. Yeah, it's different realities. Yeah, the thing about Trump is like he's not, he's not a general with like, and I mean when Caesar crossed the Rubicon, I think it was just with the one German legion, one legion. He didn't intend to fight anyone. Where's this landing? Oh, here it is, down here. I'm literally juggling two group chats that play from both extremes right now. Real double agent stuff. People who seem to hate politicians and the government seem to be the first to cry when our democracy is threatened. Seriously entertaining some CIA cult to mind control ideas. I have a story worked up for that. It's called Flat Earth. And basically it's a guy who works for the government and, he basically Flat Earth is a government conspiracy. Not a conspiracy to withhold it, but the very idea that the Earth is flat is something that was propagated by the government. And the point, like, why would the government try to convince people the Earth is flat? And the answer is because if you convince people that the Earth is flat, you can identify who that worked on, right? It identifies certain traits that go along with that. So it's not really about the Earth being flat or round. I don't know why I stopped here, because I don't really need to stop here at all, and I don't need to stay at the end yet. It's really entirely about identifying who the weirdos are that are going to be convinced and are not going to believe what you're telling them. So on one hand, you're gonna find people who are crazy and believe crazy things, but on the other hand, you're gonna find people who aren't convinced by like the general narrative. And so I was gonna have the main character is the whole time he's like, yeah, I mean the Earth is not flat. Like basically by the end, he doubts whether the Earth is round because all the sources of his information to date he realizes are not reliable. That almost everything he's been told, it's not that it's a lie, it's just that it can't be confirmed. Like he can't confirm it. Like, and then I had a scene in mind where he goes down to the ocean and looks at the horizon to confirm things with his own eyes. But it's so hazy he can't see the ships disappear over the horizon. Yeah, I like this music too. So I like stories like that where you doubt what reality is. I did that with Eyes in the Walls. Like what is real in that? You're basically presented with two options throughout the book. Like either the main character is crazy or he's not. And so the whole time you're thinking, okay, well, is the monster real or is he crazy? Is the monster real or is he crazy? Or what is it really? Or is the monster something different from what I think it is? And I kind of pulled it out so like at the end, the monster's real, but it's real and not real at the same time. And what you think is not real it's all different from what you think. I came up with a really good ending for it and it kind of pulls everything together in a good way. So I really like those sorts of things where it's not necessarily a unreliable narrator, but it's just that you're not sure. You don't have enough information to decide what is real or what's not real in the story. So I like doing stories like that. I kind of did that with Voices of the Void. Yeah, I also think the government props up absurdist conspiracies to delegitimize real conspiracies. That's the idea. QAnon diverts attention from Epstein-like predation. Yeah, that's the idea of the book right there. Is like they create fake conspiracies to identify people and to basically to confuse everyone. So, what seems like a conspiracy but it's true is just lumped in with things which are obviously not true, like the Earth being flat. So you're never really sure about what reality is, and that's the point. Brian says, the Bridge of the Battle theme reminds me of I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Yeah, I could see that. I can't get no satisfaction. It's kind of amazing how classic some of this music is and ended up being reused so much in the series, and how little music there actually is in the game, but how you don't really get tired of it. And I think with time filtering, you can see that that's not a universal. There's tons of NES games that the music's bad or completely forgettable, and this is not one of them. You remember the music from Zelda and Mario partly because you played it a lot and you heard the music over and over again. But, I don't remember the music from Zixies or something, and I played that game a lot. Zixies? I'm trying to remember what it is. Alright. I think I already opened all the chests. She didn't care that you opened the chests. Nothing here. Okay. Obviously, I have to walk around the table to talk to her. The prince needs herb. I'll trade the most powerful herb to get my crystal back. Oh, I can see. You have no more business here. Go! Alright. Off we go. This is totally the wrong version of the of the video here. This is better. Now we can see everything a little better. Alright, now let's go back and help the Elven Prince. Are you running an emulator? Yes, this is, it's a Nestopia running through RetroArch. If you're not familiar with RetroArch, it's a front end for running emulators. It makes it really easy and convenient. I think some people have trouble with RetroArch because there's so much that you can do with it. But basically, the program will run on almost anything. There's a port of RetroArch to the PS2 somehow. I don't know how that works, but it exists. So, I put it on my Vita the other day. It runs on Android, so you could put it on your Android phone or your Android tablet, and if you have your old ROM files from either you pulled them off yourself from like your discs or your games, you can run them. I know the PlayStation one runs pretty well on Android, so you could run all your PS1 games on your Android phone, no problem. If you never bothered to rip your discs, you can probably find them not too much trouble if you know where to look. It's one of those things that I think if I told you on YouTube, it'd be a problem. But you could find them. In fact, who knows the way things will go in the future. It might be a good idea to have local copies of all the discs that you want to have preserved. It's a disc rot and just loss of availability in the future to find them. Are you running? Yes, okay. Does Trump still have time to take his money and run for the... How do I pronounce that? I realize there's all kinds of words I've seen but never pronounced. Seychelles? Yeah. I mean, if I were Trump, there's no way I would never trust being able to go back to being a private citizen again. Like, I would try to go somewhere where the government couldn't get me. Because I know they would come for me afterwards. It's just like, it's the end of... I don't know, it could all be theater, but I mean, like, based on how intense it's been against him over the last 4 years, I would say it's like, you gotta head for the hills. You know, you got to go to Corsica or something to go into exile. First heard the victory theme in Final Fantasy VII. The 8-bit origin is real charming. The dancing sprites don't hurt it either. Yeah, I love the dancing sprites. I wanted to play, even though this version has actually a bunch of bugs. They're not game-breaking bugs, but they're big bugs. Like that your intellect doesn't do anything. As a stat, it's just an irrelevant stat. It just doesn't do anything whatsoever. But I wanted to play it on the NES to really see where it started and see what the fact that it had success despite a lot of these problems, or, you know, it didn't need really good graphics to be a fun game. It's all about the gameplay with the first one. The story, it's not that the story is an afterthought, but the story is just kind of out of the way. It just pulls you between the various places that you go, and the increasing difficulty levels and things. That's all the story does. Larry's getting a little beat up here. So is... That's, this is level 1 cure right there. I'll stay in a minute here, so. Alright. Oh, don't want to go that way. Of course. Everyone from the AG to the lowliest DA will be after his head. And his family's heads, too. Yeah, I think it's, you know... I'm reminded of this quote. Actually, we need to have both those guys hit the shark. I'm reminded of this quote from, I think it's... I think it's from the very first Malazan book, at the very, like, the prologue, which is like, the freest life is the one the gods don't notice. You want to be free? Live quietly. He's like, I want to be a hero. You know, it's like, I think it's Ganos Perron and Whiskey Jack talking, though you don't know who they are yet. You only know them later based on from their voice. But it's Ganos saying, I want to be a soldier, I want to be a hero like you. And he says, it's no heroes, boy, you know. Let me tell you, if you want to live free, live quietly. It's alright. It's no big deal. I mean, it's possible. People have said, like, you know, they went full bore for Bush and then basically left him alone afterwards. You know, it'll be because they cook up another Hitler. So that's possible. Notice they don't have, like, they don't bother to do interiors of buildings. That's something that comes with later games, I think. It's like doing building interiors. How did China, a place with thousands of years of culture, tradition, and the most influential spiritualism and philosophy, turn into a soulless husk of its former self? The Cultural Revolution. It was done intentionally by the Chinese communists and Mao Zedong. The Cultural Revolution was an intentional destruction of Chinese culture. Because you have to think that the communists viewed Chinese culture as a product, as producing the badness that they were experiencing. So yeah. It was done intentionally. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't like it just happened. That was an intentional. It also killed 100 million people either directly or and maybe even more indirectly by creating famines, like taking the peasant and putting him in the surgery room and saying, you're a surgeon now. In fact, they literally did this in Cambodia. And, of course, that kills people. People are not in their professions or their places just for no reason. Like caste systems, rigid caste systems may be bad, but you can't put a peasant in the doctor's office and say he's a doctor and expect him to be a doctor. It doesn't work that way. Level 10, woo! Yeah, mainland Chinese can't even read traditional Chinese. It's just how, it's an intentional thing. It's like, man, how the mighty have fallen. It's like, well, they intentionally destroyed their culture, and they were mostly illiterate to begin with. Chinese writing is not the easiest thing to read and write. So, peasants were more likely even more illiterate than, say, other cultures. Yeah, they burned down countless historical buildings and statues, scrolls, killing priests, etc. Yeah. It's we don't have to get into it, but like if you haven't read stuff about the Cultural Revolution and it doesn't just like turn your stomach, that's a problem. It's bad. My family survived Cambodia. They came to America as refugees. I almost want to cry right now seeing what they've ran to now. I'm sorry. I still think things are a very far cry from like Khmer Rouge in Cambodia and the killing fields. But I bring this up because like you can't know about this stuff if this stuff doesn't just like severely like provoke I don't know, feelings of horror or empathy at least, then there's something really wrong with you. Like the people who excuse Stalin's purges and stuff, you have to be on a different level of like demonic influence or something, I think, to be that way. It's just inhuman what was done to people. Who do I give this herb to? Oh, this herb will release the prince from Astos' curse. Look, he is waking. Is this a dream? Are you the light warriors? Is this for real? So, as legend says, I give you the mystic key. I feel fine now. Thank you. Thank you. Peace will return to Elfland. Alright, we got the mystic key. Now we have to decide what to do with it. I think to get to the armory, we have to kind of walk around the outside. I think I can open some stuff in the armory right away. Simplified Chinese is crazy. Traditional Chinese character for love contains the character for the heart. Simplified replaces that character with well, as in the deep, dark, damp place. Real shame if you can't read it, given the absolutely immense history tied to that written language. Yeah, no kidding. My father and his family were literally forced at gunpoint out of their village into the rice fields. Most of them didn't come out. I'm really sorry. Oh, great. I have to do this again. I'm really sorry about that. One of many things that shouldn't have happened. They made a movie about it years ago that was like... That was when I first found out about it. It's like somebody made a movie about it. It's just like horrifying to watch. A silver hammer. 400 gold. 330 gold. Some sort of copper thing. Alright. Let's see if we can equip some of these. First, let's check our status here on Bob. Maybe the silver hammer. Let's see here. Damage 37. Okay. I know different weapons... I think I looked at the wrong guy. Damage 26. damage 29. So the short sword still does more damage, but the silver hammer we can use on, I think we can give it to Larry. Alright. And we could probably buy another silver sword. Now let's see. Armor. I'm not sure what this does. Copper. Something copper. I don't know what, though. Whatever. Can't equip the chain. Alright. Thanks for reading the dialogue. Can't watch my screen right now. Okay. Now we can go all over the place and open things with this mystic key, I think. Including, like, we can go back to that other dungeon. But I don't think I want to go there now. And then I'm trying to remember what happens from here. Anyway, let's go open some stuff at the first castle. See if there's anything in there. Do you think we're in a U.S. culture revolution? Not in the same way that you had in China at all. I think, people call it a culture war, and that's probably not inaccurate. My sister's back safe, thank you. Now let's go talk to the king. Maybe he'll tell us what to do. It's a copper bracer, okay. Princess always worries about you. Ooh, she does. Now get ready for your trip and make the orb shine again. Alright, so then tell me where to go next. Thought it said Lars instead of large. It's a Buster Sword in the background. It's foam. Yeah, I got it for my son. He wanted it he found it at the Halloween store and wanted it. I got it on sale like after Halloween a couple years ago. It's just for fun to play with. He's at the right size though. Like if he were to like dress as Cloud, he could pull it off as like a Halloween costume. He has blonde hair and everything. I think there's an invisible person in one of these rooms. But I don't remember which one. Legend says the loot can break the evil gate. There it is! Yeah, there's this invisible person here. So, you are the Light Warriors? Yeah, there's an invisible person right here. I don't know why. I think there's... Yeah, I need to get to those treasure rooms. Baby, you're gonna have to get out of the way. Move. Oh. Come on, move. Thank you. I'll have all day here. Chit chat with you. To walk all the way around the outside. Yes, sir. I belong to the honor guard of Castle Corneria. It's a copper. Okay. If it's a war, we're losing it fabulously. I mean, so how do you win? I mean, if you're talking about a war of people's minds, how do you win that? Well, the first thing is don't give them your children. So homeschool your kids if that's at all an option for you. Found a saber. An iron. Ooh, a silver knife, I think. Let's see. Let's see what the saber does. No, the saber's less for some reason. Yeah. Interesting. That maybe... I have a bunch of short swords. I need to sell some. That's, oops, no. Silver. Trade. Let's see what the silver knife does. $29. No. It. Weapon. Equip. Saber. No. Silver knife. So, unfortunately, it doesn't show you stuff right away. That's even less. I think it gives you good evade, though. Alright. Let's see if this... see which one has the best for this, for Larry down here. Alright, Larry, what's your attack? Pretty good evade, 54% evade. Oh, he can't equip the silver or iron. So I guess that's not an option. I guess maybe... I have a large knife and a silver knife. Yeah, it's more, just the short sword's better. We'll just sell the other stuff. An iron shield. TNT! I think I can use that to blow something up. And iron armor. Alright, let's see if I can equip any of this. We have 2 iron armors. They even have it equipped. Oh, you can't equip it. Or the iron shield. Well, Bob can use the iron shield. We'll sell the rest. Okay. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. Alright. Can he equip the wooden shield? Nope. Alright. I think you can equip the copper bracer. Nope. Alright. That solves that mystery. Okay. So we got the TNT and a loot. I think we can figure out where we're supposed to go next. Damn, David, you made me want to play Dragon Quest XI at 3:30 a.m. just as I was getting ready for bed. Dragon Quest XI is really good. It's a really fun story, and it's like kind of episodic, so each area you go to is that. So yeah, anyway, if you want to win the culture war, the first thing is you gotta not give the next generation to the people who are trying to impart their culture to it. You need to have control over your own generation, and then you need to be actively fostering your culture outside of yourself as well. So if you're capable of making art, make the art that you wish to see. If you're not capable of making art, then, you know, tell other people about the art that you would like to see in the world. And that will help. Oh, she's outside a room. By mistake, she's also invisible while you're outside of rooms. Oh, interesting. Just read up on it. The reason she's invisible is because NPC sprites are programmed to be visible or okay, depending on if they're in a room. And she's somehow listed as being in a room. Work for yourself if possible. Infiltrate, you know, HR departments. Yeah, conservatives have an issue of just like retiring to their Texas ranch. Saying like, I got mine late. It's slightly problematic. I'm trying to remember where I go next, so I don't remember. Probably need to call it though, now that I've kind of got everything worked out here. Let's see if I can get on to the next area. It should be in the manual, actually. I think the manual tells you where to go next after you do this. So we could totally check the manual. There we go. This is great. It's like a little D&D adventure. Let's see here. Look for the entrance. Northwest Castle. Wake the sleeping prince. Oh, it even tells you like where the mystic key is to open any door. So you can open these two rooms. In Temple of Fiends you can open a room. So maybe I should go back there and open one. Castle of Elf, you can open those. I got those. The Dwarf Cave. I don't remember where the Dwarf Cave is. I don't think I went there. Cave of Marsh, I don't know if I went there either. No, that's where I got the crown. So we can go back there. And did I get this stuff out of the Northwest Castle? I don't think I did. I think I forgot to get the stuff out of the Northwest Castle. So I might have to go back there and do that. If only you could dig your way out of that land enclosed sea you're in. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably what the dynamite's for. Oh yeah, it tells you where to use the dynamite. Help Narek. I don't remember where the dwarf cave was. I didn't go to the dwarf cave. I think I forgot about it. The marsh cave. There's the dwarf cave. We can go to the dwarf cave and see what's up. All right, let's do that. I should actually call it because it's pretty late here and I need to go to bed. Yeah, I miss manuals that were like actually detailed and had stuff, told you stories. I loved the manual from Zelda 2. The Zelda 2 manual was just really cool. Yeah, across the sea west of Cordelia, that's what I figured. It's not a game guide, it's the manual that came with the game back in 1987. And it had all this stuff in it. It got you up to the point where I think you get an airship a little bit after this. So it just kind of tells you the critical stuff. It doesn't tell you everything, but it really gets you started. And that was actually the same thing with the original Legend of Zelda. They're like, how would you know where to go? It's like, well, it was actually in the manual. It gave you a map for like the first few areas. I think this is the Temple of Fiends. I'll have to go to the Dwarf Cave a different way. And so it got you started. It tells you where the first 4 dungeons were and everything. Well, I think it's not so much that digital did away with it. I think it's really that the style of game making changed to include tutorials. That like your game has to include some sort of tutorial that teaches the player how to play the game within the game itself. And I don't necessarily think that's bad. I think tutorials are probably good. But, you know, you didn't have that option really with older games, so you had to do it this way. You know, you had to have stuff in the manual. And you couldn't, honestly, this game would be pretty hard to play if you've never played anything like it before, which most people in 1987 hadn't really played anything like it. To know what you were supposed to do or how you were supposed to play. Kind of had to have it spelled out for you. Yeah, they were all like this. They were all super detailed like this back in the day. They told you all the enemies and, like, you know, what they did. It was cool stuff. Is Sid in this one? Sid's in number 2. Yeah, Sid's in number 2 is where I think when you get the first Sid. Gargoyles. This time I will fight you. Well, these guys die pretty easy. When you can hit them. I'm on a PS5 and a Series X. Well, you're like, you're one of those 7 people that's really enjoying their PlayStation 5. Xbox better, you think Final Fantasy XIV is worth it for $30 and $13 a month? I don't know. I haven't played Final Fantasy XIV yet, so I would ask someone else. Game manuals went from lavish full-color booklets to black and white Xerox inserts to screw it. Look it up online. It's true. Like, look at this. This was cool, and it was about this big. You know, it was the size of a Nintendo box. I still have some sitting around. They were great. They were really, really awesome. And I still have some games that have these thick manuals. Like, there was a game I opened up. I was like, whoa, I can't believe there's this thick manual in here. And my wife was like, is that not a thing anymore? I'm like, no, it's all tutorials now. There was some game that I opened up. I think it was The Force Unleashed for PlayStation 3. I just like opened it up and I'm like, whoa, there's a huge manual in here. And it's like, yeah, they just don't do these anymore. A rune sword. I think the rune sword actually doesn't do anything. None of the special swords have an effect in this version of the game. Right. Let's look at his status. 29 damage. Weapon. Equip. Status. Alright, that did a little more damage. That works. I don't remember if there's anything else. Oh, I checked the manual. It'll tell me exactly how many doors I need to open. How funny is that? There's 2 of them in this temple. So we'll find these 2 and then we'll kill the stream. I think this one. I remember not being able to borrow a friend's game, but they would let me borrow the manual. My cousin did that for Minecraft, so I guess it's still alive. That's funny. I remember a thing where, like, you really couldn't... I lent somebody Super Mario Brothers 3 one time, and we couldn't get it back, and, like, my dad had to get involved. And I was, like, 8, you know? I wasn't very old. So, we realized, like, after that, my dad's like, you can't loan things to people. You're not going to get them back. So don't loan things to people. It's like, but at school they told me to share everything. It's like, school is dumb. You know, if you share everything with everyone, sooner or later someone's not going to give you your thing back. And unfortunately, I didn't take that lesson to heart because I would loan people things later in life and then I'd have trouble getting them back because people are unreliable. You know. And I just came up with the conclusion that's like, I don't loan anything to anybody that I wouldn't normally give them. Oh, a wear sword. Soft. That soft is like 900 gold. The wear sword is also supposed to do something special, but it actually doesn't. Mobile version isn't bad. Played 1 through 6 on mobile right now. The mobile versions are not bad, but there's also, I mentioned RetroArch. You can install RetroArch on your Android phone and then play it, you know, either with like an Xbox One controller or any Xbox controller, really. You could use probably the new Xbox controller as well. Here, let me look it up. So you have RetroArch. It's like a little, here, pull it up. Right, you can load a core. I'm just going to load content. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not sure where it is. I'm not sure where I stuck all my ROMs, so I got to find them real quick. Or this one. Big ROM. Here, let's just search ROMs. I remember where I stuck it. Didn't find it. Where did I put it? Nope. Cores, that's not it. I was just testing this out earlier. it's not it either. Here it is. Alright. So I was playing Symphony of the Night earlier, and it runs great on the phone, you know. Make that plus 18 damage. Only the Silver Sword is better at this stage in the game, yeah. Both Wear and Rune Swords do 18 damage. Rune was 1 higher crit rate. Fighter and Red Mage can use both. Sweet. Thank you, Brian. I don't remember all this stuff because it's been forever. So let's go to SNES ROMs and under F. Here, let me click that off for a second. I'll show this to you. Let's do. Here we go. Here it is. You can just play the original right here. Boom! Fun fact, if you're playing it on a Super Nintendo, is this is a 2-player game. A lot of people don't know this. But you're plugging the second controller, and one person will control one half the characters, the other person control the other half. So with the active time battle system, you play this with 2 players. And this is really, you're gonna maybe know this today. Final Fantasy IX is a 4-player game. That's right, you can play 4-player Final Fantasy IX. And you each control a different character. So, definitely... Alright, hold on, let's pick this up. Oh, I forgot to get my Red Mage's sword. Oh well. Hit this guy. You can one-shot the imp. There we go. Boom. Let's see here. Usually when we lent each other games when we were kids, we'd lend games simultaneously, like my Red Alert 2 for my friend's Worms. Yeah, so we'd have something the other person wanted. That's a good idea. I didn't know about 3, 6, I only knew that 2 and 4 function like that. Yeah, so yeah, Final Fantasy 3, you could play it as 2 players. It's pretty cool. But Final Fantasy 9 does that. You can have 4-player Final Fantasy 9. And so you can use a multi-tap on your PlayStation and have a bunch of different controllers plugged in. Or if you're using an emulator, you can use just the multiple controllers options. But it doesn't, as far as I know, that's not the case on the Android versions, the later versions, or the PC version. I think that is exclusive to the original PlayStation version. So you'll have to get your whatever's capable of playing PlayStation 1 games. You'll have to get that out. If you jailbreak your PS3, by the way, you can actually play all the PS1 ROMs. As long as you have bin and Q files, they should work. You can play them off a hard drive, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to get your discs out. We're approaching a time where a lot of these discs have errors and stuff on them because of disk rot. So be aware that as far as games preservation goes, your old PlayStation discs may have issues with them. So it's not a bad idea to either rip them or grab the equivalent ROM so that you have a copy that you can transfer to newer systems as time goes on. Would definitely be nice getting a download play option on the Switch. Yeah, for sure. I was telling people on the other stream last night that the PlayStation Vita actually has video output. That's right, it has video output. So you can actually, you could have had your Nintendo Switch Sony could have had the Nintendo Switch 10 years ago, basically. Oh, it's not. Thank you. Here we go. Okay, sorry. So showing off the emulator. So yeah, you can play them all on your phone and get something more approximating the original aesthetics and experience. As they've updated them, the updates are not bad. I would never characterize the graphical updates of most of these games to be bad, but I feel like the PC, the later versions of Final Fantasy VI are missing some of the aesthetic appeal of the Super Nintendo ones. I think the Super Nintendo, I think it looks better. For whatever reason, I think you lose some of the sensibilities of what the original art was like. Now, can I use it? Oh, you see that? It disappears when you hit that item. Be careful. What's that? I don't remember how to use it. It's also cool by using an emulator is you can save the state anywhere you want. Ground, key, cabin, tent, heal. There's the dwarf cave. Figure out how to get to that dwarf cave. And it's gone. I'll probably play the DS version of Final Fantasy III. Oh, you gotta give the TNT to the dwarf. And then he tells you, that's why. And then I think maybe after you blow up that land bridge, you actually... Maybe you can't get to him. Anyway, it's late, so I'm going to have to call it. But so I can just save my game right there. How rad is that? Anyway, but I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. We'll see. But for now, I got to head to bed. It's pretty late, and this is not going to keep me awake. I'm just dry throat. And keep fighting the good fight. And by that, I mean make sure to know where your domains of effectiveness are and maximize them. And I guess this was really what I wanted to get to without being distracted from games. It's like, where's your domain of effectiveness? So first of all, your domain of effectiveness is going to be those people that are around you. So if you want your children to grow up with your values, then you need to not hand them over to other people who have different values from you. So that means attending to their education in a way that is deeper and a bigger time commitment to you than what most Americans do, which is to send their kids to public school and just let the school handle the education part, and maybe you help them with homework sometimes. That means you're either going to have to homeschool them or maybe private institution, or just be heavily involved with your kids if they're in a public institution. That means taking care of your elders. That means imparting values to, say, your church community and to your neighbors and to those around you. So the people that are physically close to you, they're going to be in your sphere of influence and your domain of responsibility. These are people that are naturally close to you, and those are the people that you can affect and help. And then likewise, where your skill set is. I'm not a Roman general. So for me to enact political change is somewhat limited. I'm a person that can do a lot of writing, and I have an audience, and I can talk to people about political change, but I can't just go force political change like I'm Caesar or Sulla or something, right? That's not me. Somebody else might have that domain as part of their life, but not me. So it's not a lot of use to spend your time fantasizing or proclaiming about what ought to be done in some capacity as far as politics go, about crossing Rubicons or something like that. You really need to focus on what your sphere of influence and what your domain of responsibility actually is, and maximize that. And the thing is that even if it makes no positive impact on the bigger culture, first of all, it will if everybody does it. If more people do it. There's a lot of Christians in the U.S. There's a lot of Mormons in the U.S. There's a lot of religious people. And if they all did that, then that would make a positive impact on the culture. So it's not just, it can make an impact. But even if it doesn't, if you are, if you're raising your kids and you're like me and you're a Christian, you're raising your kids in the faith and they grow up and they have that faith, then you've given them something that's invaluable, right? You haven't wasted any time. To spend your time saving one person from the fires of hell is not a waste of time at all. That is a worthy use of your time. And you have to be careful with how you use your time because you can't save everyone. But if you can save one person, then that was worth it. That person has been saved. If you can help one person, that person's been helped. So know your domain of responsibility and don't suffer a lot of psychic distress because there's a bunch of things out of your control. Of course there are. I'm physically far away from things that are dramatic. Obviously, I can't affect those. I can affect the things that are near me. So that's what I want to say as a little parting speech there. Do you happen to know any failed art students? I've known many, actually. Thank you for the super chat, Brian. I do appreciate it. It's blank, so thank you for the $4.99. And thanks for joining me, Brian, and telling me what to do, because I don't remember everything about this game. It's been years. I played the iOS version back when it came out in like 2010. I bought it for like $20, and it was worth the money because it occupied an entire set of plane trips for me. It was just playing through this game again, and it was so fun to play through it again. I have known some failed art students. My mom condemned the people at the Capitol building. She's a 9/11 truther. When I called her out, she said the courts need to handle it. She also believes the courts are corrupt. It's a cognitive dissonance kind of thing. Again, you won't have this kind of distress if you should be aware of things beyond your domain because those may enter your domain, but you should know where your domain of effectiveness is and maximize that. And if you focus on that, then I think it helps a lot. I think you can avoid a lot of psychic distress. That's why I find what happened to go in the Capitol to be it's like a real life 4chan troll is what it looked like to me. And so I found it amusing, right? It was certainly an entertaining day. But I'm not suffering psychic distress over any of it at all. And that's kind of where I'm at, right? And it's kind of hard to have those layers and that compartmentalization because everything's right at our fingertips. We can see everything happening in real time. In ages past, it was easy to compartmentalize because the people in China were in China and we never saw them and we didn't know anything about them and we only saw like representative drawings of them, like caricatures of them. We didn't know what Chinese people even looked like. And now we can watch China on the TV and watch people get run over by tanks live in China. That's a completely different world and it demands your attention. But you have to know that attention may come at the expense, not always, but may come at the expense of things that are right in front of you where you could attend to those and you could affect those and you could make things better in your sphere of, your sphere of effectiveness is what I call it. Thank you, Brian. I do appreciate the $5. I'm going to use it to buy more Brian's books. So Brian's got books. I don't have links for all of them, but you can just look them up. Combat Frame X Seed series, and I like the way he approaches the series, where each book is really a complete story. So you're not looking at a series where it's like, is he ever going to finish it? What's going to happen in the story? You get a complete meal when you buy one of Brian's books. And that's something that I think it's something I try to do, but I think we should maybe get back more to it as we're writing books, is having that complete meal experience. So anyway, that's my spiel for tonight. I hope you guys have a great night. God bless you. And, we will I'll see you guys next time, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how things go. Yeah, worry only about what you control. Hard to do in today's day and age. Very hard. It's hard. I'm not, I was glued to my phone for a big part of the day because of what was going on, and I'm not going to lie about that. It demands your attention. It's hard to unplug, but I think what helps me is to just take a moment and stop and be like, what can I do right now? What can I do right now, and what am I supposed to be doing? What am I here to do? You know, what are my gifts? Where's my strengths? I can write something, I can make videos, I can talk to you guys. Those are things that I think are all positive and do things and are within my realm of expertise and my realm of effectiveness. But, being an armchair revolutionary, what's the point of that? Like, why spend your time trying to foment revolution from a keyboard? You're not a Roman general. If you're a Roman general, it's different because you have a military behind you. But, we're not that. So you have to think about what's locally available to you, either within the virtual local, which is what we're in right now, virtual local, or, actual local, your children, your family, the people that are actually going to care about you. So thanks, guys. And I will see you all next time, I think. Where's the books? There they are. Anyway, have a great one. God bless you.